beautiful day here in Parker, Colorado. It's been very gloomy and rainy the past few days, so I'm excited to be outdoors and be able to utilize my natural surroundings to help explain our curriculum project to you. So let's begin. My partner Angela and I have created a curriculum which we named Living Nutrition in the Forest Ecosystem. And this curriculum encompasses both biology and health concepts, which are both courses that are usually taught in the high school level. Our curriculum specifically focuses on ecology and nutrition and how the two can be related to one another. Our targeted age group is high school students, specifically 10th graders, and students within this grade typically fall between the ages of 15 and 16 years old. This age group is categorized in the formal operational stage of cognitive development, and the students are expected to develop the ability to reason, analyze, and construct abstract concepts, as well as construct explanations from based off of tested hypotheses. Prior to diving into our curriculum, the students are expected to have some understanding of biology concepts, physical sciences, as well as health. Prior to starting the ecology unit, students will have understanding of biochemistry, plant and animal cellular organization, and the different types of reproduction. They will have also been introduced to evolution and genetic material, how it can be transferred, cell division, and how traits are passed down from generation to generation. And before starting the nutrition portion of our curriculum, students should have a basic understanding of self-care, what stress is, how it can be defined, and different types of stressors that they may come into contact with, whether they be physical or chemical stressors. And students will also be expected to have some understanding of the different parts of the food triangle. Angela and I have created our curriculum, the lessons, the assessments, and the activities based on this prior knowledge, so it will build on top of these concepts, as well as the learning characteristics that are described in the formal operational stage of cognitive development. We hope that our curriculum motivates and supports students to work together in small groups, to create their own experiments, have application of the scientific method, and do their own scientific investigations. Now, 10th grade students may not have the desire to want to learn about ecology or nutrition, and so Angela and I have utilized applicable learning theories within our curriculum that we hope will motivate and support the students to enjoy the information that they are obtaining and the ways in which they are obtaining it. The first learning theory that we utilize is constructivism. This learning theory is progressive learning that is inquiry-based, so all that prior knowledge that I explained before, in addition to actual experiences that Angela and I will provide to our students, will provide the students the material that they need to construct and understand the information for our ecology and nutrition units. The next learning theory that we integrated into our curriculum is experimental learning. This is where we take the students out into the natural setting to learn different skills, both physical and mental, being placed within the forest ecosystem. These experiences help students develop both physical and mental relationships to their forest ecosystem. I'm going to briefly describe some of our activities. Our first one is nature journaling. This allows students to go into the natural setting, a patch of trees, by a river or stream, anywhere that's suitable for them, and they are able to focus on their observational skills and illustration skills and begin to understand the health aspect of journaling and being within a natural setting. Here students will take the time to reflect on the natural setting as well as themselves. They will be able to use their different senses to describe where they are, what they see, how they feel. And then that will also be used as an assessment to see how they were able to place themselves within the forest ecosystem. The students will also be asked to create a simulation of a closed ecosystem where they will be able to build the structure and the functions of an ecosystem, at least theoretically anyways. And the students, which will be in small groups, will be able to witness the species interactions between other organisms as well as the physical environment, and how such interactions create the overall ecosystem and its health overall. The students will then be asked to create a food web, which will include humans, and this will help the students to place themselves within a forest ecosystem instead of being an observer on the outside, and it will help them be able to demonstrate the flow of energy and carbon through the ecosystem. And finally, the students will be asked to create a meal plan or do a meal prep, where they are asked to find different plant species and research those species that they found, and based on the information that they have obtained, to create recipes, different meals, just a creative way to show how we are a part of the food chain within the ecosystem. We, get energy from the plants as well as the animals in the surrounding areas. But again, this activity focuses specifically on creating appetizers and edible food with the different plants, whether it be salad or some lettuce concoction. So that's a brief overview of our curriculum. We hope that our curriculum, our activities, our assessments encourage the students to see themselves as being a part of the natural world, again, not just as an observer on the outside. And we also hope that this motivates the students to see that the student is found within the environment as well as the environment is found within the students. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Angie Stegmeyer, and for this portion of the video on our unit, Nutrition in the Forest Ecology, I'm going to demonstrate one of our unit learning activities, which is identification of forest edibles and how to obtain them through foraging. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, a weed is a plant whose virtues have not yet been discovered. And as you can see, there are plenty of weeds in the forest, among other biotic components that have nutritional as well as medicinal values. However, trying to convince kids that dandelions and mushrooms are yummy is, well, literally fruitless. Of course, the forest is also a habitat for other sources of meat, protein, deer, elk, and even squirrel. Well, maybe not so much squirrel. Okay, and bugs. But this activity in particular focuses on foraging of edible plant parts. So the students will be able to equate the forest ecology with healthy eating, which doesn't have to be yucky. Part of their assessment for nutrition, for the nutrition unit also, is to build a menu using some of the foods that we will have foraged, so they can get creative using their knowledge of the food plate, which they will have learned in a previous lesson. And they can also experiment a little and maybe find out that dandelions aren't so bad with ranch on them. Students can also learn the value of foraging as it connects us to our roots literally as hunters and gatherers. So with foraging, we learn respect for nature and what it provides our minds and our bodies. Ultimately, this outdoor activity is a great way to demonstrate how a healthy forest can make us healthy. So, how do we forage for these delectable wild edibles? I'm going to show you. We need some supplies. First of all, it will help to have a clipboard, because prior to coming out into the forest, the students will have a lesson on the types of plants that are edible in the area that we are going to be foraging, how to identify them, and they will actually make their own field guide that they will take out with them. So I'll show you the field guide. The field guide will look something like this, and we will go by the word item. This is very important. Item, I-T-E-M. Item, identify, need to identify the plant. So these are just examples of some of the plants that I have identified beyond a reasonable doubt. And the saying is, if in doubt, leave it out. They need to identify time, the T in item, time. What time of year is it? Is it okay to forage this? Is it edible this time of year? Different plants have different times where you can harvest them. The environment. Is the environment a healthy environment? Is it near a polluted water source or a clear, clean water source? Is the soil clean in the area? Method. The method of preparation. Is this a plant that requires several boilings? Is it complicated, or is it fairly easy? Can you eat it raw? You put it on a salad, or can you also prepare it by crushing up the seeds? Some plants have seeds that you can crush up and actually use as flowers. And a little drawing. They need to do a little detailed drawing of their edible. So, some of the other supplies that we're going to need. I have with me a master field guide. This is a very extensive field guide showing colored pictures. It's highly recommended. I found it very helpful. This is called Edible Wild Plants, and it is written by Thomas, Elias, and Peter Dykman. And it's very helpful when you're out foraging. As you can see, I've foraged a few plants myself that I have yet to identify, so that's where they're held in the book. So we will need a bag, or a basket, or a bucket of sorts, a pair of garden gloves. You always want to protect your hands. You never know. Some plants can be very irritating to the skin, and some plants are highly toxic. And those are plants we are not going to get. We want a garden trowel for digging. And a pair of scissors. All in our handy little basket. So let's go on a short little walk and forage. So this plant right here, this is a wild rose. I couldn't tell you exactly what wild rose is used for, but it will tell us in our field guide. Wild roses have a distinct, beautiful smell, and you can use the petals, you can boil the petals, you can make rose water. This here is a form of wild rhubarb. This is definitely edible. You need to cook the rhubarb. Eating it raw is not recommended. Take this with us. And as we go along, when we're foraging, we can recognize a lot of the different plants we'll have already gone over in class. And most of the fun is just hunting. And that is our activity. And when the students get back into the classroom on the following day, they will prepare a report at identifying all the plants that they foraged and their uses, how to cook them, and hopefully come up with a recipe that will delight everyone. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video on nutrition and the forest ecology.